Hey everyone, Jennifer Lee Chan here from NBC Sports Bay Area. It is day 2 of the draft, and the 49ers have taken 4 straight defensive players. It was their plan all along, and Kyle Shanahan spoke afterwards and said, Hey, I mean, this is what we had planned to do. I mean, they had hoped to do this. It's like you always want to address your bigger needs, but we don't just draft to address needs. You've got to make it fit right. We hoped it would play out this way because we needed to do that. And our starting with our first pick to the next 3, it all worked out that way. And it'll probably fill our biggest needs on the team right now. So 4 picks, 2 defensive linemen, and that is going to help stop the run. They could not stop the run at all in 2024. This will help them. Alfred Collins, 6'5", 320 pounds, 23 years old, and he'll be lining up next to Mykel Williams, who is 6'5", also 265 pounds. Mykel Williams, we found out, was a wrestler today, and not a wrestler today. We found out today he was a wrestler in high school. He wrestled at 250 pounds. He wrestled against guys that were 285 pounds in that weight class. Not only does wrestling help defensive linemen get stronger hands, but also makes sure that they can have a lower center of gravity and get underneath the pad so they have leverage. Chris Kacerek always talks about how defensive linemen that don't have leverage lose at the line of scrimmage. So defensive linemen like Eric Armstead, like DeForest Buckner, really tall guys like this, 6'5", if they can get low and get underneath the pads of offensive linemen, that's when they're going to win. Now, both and Alfred Collins have long arms. So not only are they going to be good at beating offensive linemen, they can get their hands up in the air to break up passes. Alfred Collins had 7 pass breakups last year. He also blocked field goals. I wouldn't be surprised if this is the best year of blocked field goals from the 49ers. Mykel Williams also, not only is he a run stopper, he's an edge setter. Now, both of these two guys, interestingly, don't have a whole lot of sacks on their resume, but what they have is untapped potential. And I think that working with Nick Bosa, with Chris Kacerek, and Robert Saleh is going to help these two guys not just do what they do already really well, which is stopping the run and setting the edge, but it's also going to help them get sacks. And that's, of course, what the 49ers want to see, and it's what the NFL takes notice of. Now, without those sacks, of course, I think they're still excellent players, and they're still making a difference. They're still getting pressure on the quarterbacks, which is important. Their third pick of the draft, Nick Martin, linebacker, a little bit smaller stature. He's about 6 foot tall, a little bit lighter than Dre Greenlaw, but lots of shades of Dre Greenlaw. Hard hitter, goes after a guy, relentless energy. I spoke to him at the Senior Bowl, or not the Senior Bowl, at the Combine. He did talk to the 49ers at the Senior Bowl. I spoke to him at the Combine, and he told me that Fred Warner was his favorite player, favorite linebacker, watches all the film of him. It's the only jersey of a player in the NFL that he owns. Still trying to get a picture of it, but maybe we'll get one. But he had a lot of contact with the 49ers throughout the process, thought that he would go to the Niners, loves Dre Greenlaw and Fred Warner and the way they play, and he is ready to be Robin to Fred Warner's Batman. He called them the dynamic duo, and he is excited to be a part of it. All he wants to do is learn from Fred Warner. So I think that's an interesting pick. It's a guy who I kind of paid attention to while at the Combine, who is a run stopper, who's a good tackler. And Nick Martin, I know a lot of people are saying, oh, they shouldn't have gone to get him in the 3rd round. Honestly, if he had come out as a junior, he probably would have gone in the 2nd, maybe even the 1st. His junior year, 2023, was impressive as hell. So many stats. I mean, the kid tackled everybody that came his way. And not only did he do that, he had tackles for a loss. He had solo tackles. He had pass breakups. He had forced fumbles. I mean, the kid can do everything. His senior year comes along and he gets hit in the knee. It's a contact injury. He tears his MCL. He never had surgery on it and it healed, but he only played 5 games. His stats were much lower. Of course, his draft stock plummets, but at the Combine, runs a 4.5. He's 100% healthy. He said he's feeling fine, no issues at all. It was not a non-contact, which is a lot different than a contact injury. Like when you look at it from the NFL scouting and coaching and drafting perspective. So I think Nick Martin will be a fun guy to watch. He's a hard hitter. They do have Dre Greenlaw. They do have Tatum Bethune, but this is a guy who I think they think is going to make a huge difference. I have a feeling that he's a favorite of Robert Saleh, Kyle Shanahan, and John Lynch. I heard that. So, fourth pick, Upton Stout. And he is shades of K1 Williams, the Shark. Upton Stout is 5'9", 181 pounds. He is a little bit smaller player, but according to a one of the area scouts, he plays with a heart of a lion. So looking at him, let's see, do I have him here? He said, I feel like you always have to play with the heart of a lion, no matter what size you are. It's just like you have to have that mindset every time you step on the field. And I just feel like every time I step on the field, you're going to get the best of me. And I feel like that's what comes out is like a heart of a lion. He also said, I always like to get my nose in. And this is when I asked him about liking to play the run. I feel like that's a big part of my game, getting dirty. I like when the violence comes. Shades of Dre Greenlaw. Yeah. That's Upton Stout. Shades of K1 Williams. Nick Martin, shades of Dre Greenlaw. So it's like the 49ers have this formula of the players and the types of characteristics that they have, and that's who they plug into their system. And these guys all fit the molds. Upton Stout really liked watching Deommodore Lenoir and Malik Mustafa last year. He watched them throughout the season. He called them 6 and 2, but we know who he's talking about. This gives Deommodore Lenoir the opportunity to play outside, primarily outside, and not have to go inside. While Deommodore Lenoir is great at both, this will allow him to be better. Deommodore Lenoir is still looking for that first Pro Bowl, that first All-Pro honor, and I think he could do it if he stays in one position. Now, Demo is a fantastic nickelback, but if you give the nickel position to Upton Stout and just have Deommodore Lenoir play outside, I think he's going to turn into a household name where everybody knows it. So those are the 4 picks of the 49ers on day 2. They have 7 picks left on day 3. It's going to be a busy day. It starts at 9 a.m. I've got to get some sleep now, and I'll be prepared for tomorrow. The way they do it is 49ers make a pick, we get a Zoom call with the player, and then we go to the next one. John and Kyle will talk at the end of the day again. They are both very pleased that they filled a lot of needs on the defense because that's really where they felt they needed to get coverage. You know, it was a tough year last year. They couldn't stop the run. Other teams put a ton of yards up on them. So this is a step in the right direction. All right, everybody, have a great evening, and we'll talk to you tomorrow after day 3.